That's what inspires me.
The management. That management will be in their hands. Great. What do you think?
For me, it's like what Sara said. My mother really believed that if I could go to school as a young girl, I would grow up to live in the most sustainable world. I will have the right to define my future. 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 Parent to define my future. Parent in this my future. Parent in this one. Parent in this one. Actually sitting. Actually flat. Actually flat to do that. Actually flat to do. Actually flat to do that. Actions to do. Actions something to do. Actions. Listen, family that. Action. Listen, family about the future. Listen, family that. About the inside. Listen, family about the future. Listen, family about the inside. Actions about the inside. Actions. And that's what and I think about and that's what and I think about and I think all the better thinking all the good grants all the better good all the good grants we get from all the good today, but I think we get from today, but in our today, but I think in our different today, but in our different today, but in our different in our different
this one is a theme that's coming up. And the theme is that these people represent not only different generations, but different geographies. And you're going to be going home at some point, right? You travel around the world, you're here in Rio, but at some point you will go home. Will you? Go home? Okay. And the question is, when you're going home after the Rio meeting, what are you going home with as your greatest worry? And what are you going home with as your greatest hope? Good question, people. I think that social media is really taking this seriously. And so I'm going to start, and I'm going to ask Mary Robinson to start with this. And we're going to go to have this question to the three of you, if we can. Are you ready for this? So we'll pass a mic around. We're going to ask Mary Robinson to ask that question. As you go home, what are you bringing back from Rio as your greatest worry and as your greatest hope after this dialogue has happened?
I think my greatest worry would be, because I listened this morning to a room full of women from different parts of the world during the UN Women's Forum, and the frustration I heard about the fact that, for example, sexual and reproductive rights are not in the agenda, that there is a sense that there are not the institutions, you know, there isn't an agency of the environment, that the text, given the sort of problems we are facing and the very critical moment that we may not come away from Rio with as much as we wish. Mm-hmm. The hope is actually also drawing on exactly that roomful and the young people that we've been meeting. There is a sense in civil society here, global civil society and Brazilian civil society, we have to concert more and work more together, and we have to take a few issues and really make a difference. And I think over the next few years we're going to see a mobilization globally by civil society that's really going to make a difference. That's my real hope. And nice. I think I saw it here in Rio.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. What do you think? As you're going home, as you're going to return to Sweden, what are you bringing home with as your hope and as your worry?
My greatest hope and my greatest worry is people. Because I think that if people are inspired and think that they are empowered to create change, then positive change will happen. But if people are disempowered and think that change is not possible, then it will not happen. So I really think that it's key to make people take action and to translate the outcomes of Rio+20 into positive action for the future by people, everybody.
My worry will be that a lack of awareness that the world leaders, business people, social leaders like you guys have not aware that we are right now needing a systematic change, a revolution, a systematic overall picture change right now at this moment. Here we are at Rio+Social, at this international negotiations, we are fighting on languages, we are fighting on words. It doesn't matter about the revolution at all. I'm quite concerned about that. People are not aware of this, actually. The other worry for me is that the differentiation between your action and your minds. Sometimes we feel that the temperature in Rio+Social is ridiculously low. Everyone is quite cold, feel cold so much. It's like the high emission, right? Hard carbon. I think like this kind of thing should never happen when we get back to our country, especially we should start from ourselves.
An important challenge. Thank you. An important challenge from our friend from China. I need to make sure I give Esther time to answer the next question because it's going to come to you, to this the three in this very intergenerational global living room that we've created here. The question is, what has most surprised you during the last 8 weeks about the other generation that you've been meeting with? So we're putting Esther on the spot to find out what surprised her about the elders. And Prime Minister Brundtland is going to tell us what surprised her about the youngers. So you three are going to answer this question from social media.
Well, I mean, they're just two fantastic group of people. What surprised me is that beyond that they are institution of knowledge and inspiration, they are also human beings, they are mothers. So they can feel how we feel. And I think, too, what surprises me, too, is that they are very welcoming to our ideas. Usually, in my culture, they said the elders are the wisdom, They only have, they are the monopoly of knowledge. But here, the elders here are actually welcome to our ideas, listen to us and engage us. And, it's quite interesting.
So you are the one.
Hello. So
Prime Minister wants to see what the answer is, right? We're going to see. That's a smart strategy.
I would say there were two surprises. One surprise is the power of dialogue, and that's something. Well, that's something that has always amazed me. But with this group, having the chance of discussing with the elders and the other youngers, it's been simply amazing. And we surely need more of these inside the UN, inside our governments, inside our society, everywhere. The power of dialogue. And the second thing that surprised me is that I hoped to receive some magic advices. But the thing is, there's no magic. What we learned discussing with them and the huge experience that they have is that we have to get our hands to work. It's hard work, and that's it. There's no magic tip. There's no, we got to go for it, everybody together.
Great, thank you.
So, a wise young man, as you heard, that he realizes that none of us, are more than human. And none of us have every answer. But the thing is that these young people, I wouldn't say it surprised me because they were picked to be people that we could trust to have something to bring to the table. So I was just impressed by the good choice that we made and the wonderful way of communication that all of you have shown. And the fun we have had together in exchanging views. And as you said, Pedro, we are so dependent on one another in this world, young and old, across the world from different geographic areas. And this comes very strongly forward when you have 4 young people from very different parts of the world.
I think that what we've been given here is we've been given a real gift, a gift of some insights. We heard a couple of themes. The themes coming from our friend from China, that issue of challenging the next generation to utilize social media, a challenge to the younger generation because they will be managing the sustainable development issues that we're talking about today. There was the challenge about making sure that awareness is at the heart of what we're doing, because that broadens what's happening. And then we heard about the challenge of some of the problems that hit home, because they're a part of a woman's life, a man's life, regardless of where they're living, and that the sustainability, as we heard, especially from our colleague here from Africa, is something that is part of all of our lives, regardless of where we live. I would like to thank the elders and the youngers for challenging each of us to think intergenerationally, to think socially, and to think about a dialogue instead of just thinking about talking, but using the 2 ears that we've been given doubly as much as the 1 mouth that we've been given as we're learning and growing and driving the sustainability conversation. Help me in thanking this dynamic group of people.